Hey, what's up everyone? Silver Slayer, welcome back for another video. Before we start the video, I just want to say thank you guys for reaching 13,000 subscribers. We reached 13,000. I am so happy to see this channel still growing. I've been working on this channel for about 2 years now, posting almost daily videos. Sometimes I'll take like a week or two break, but I always come back, post them daily again. I've been doing this for almost 2 years now. You guys have stuck around the entire time. I appreciate all the support. I appreciate everyone, leaving their feedback, everything, participating in all the polls, everything I've done for this channel, sparking conversations, giving me video ideas, some topics to bring to light, and it's just been a really nice community. The silver community is one of the best on YouTube, in my opinion. We're a family. We all help each other, just, share the love of silver, the passion that we all have, more than just the monetary value, but just the collector value and the actual love of this very undervalued intrinsic metal. So anyways, we have two articles today that I want to talk about. The first is talking about solar power to drive silver higher, which I've talked about in the past, but this article goes a little further into that. And then also one by Bloomberg talking about the silver shortage promises to boost price in 2019. I think it's a pretty good article. They talk about some pretty unique angles that not many articles talk about. When I try to share these articles with you guys, I really try to look for unique articles that not everyone has covered. I try to really bring some in-depth perspective into this, because it can be a very washed up, a very a lightweight subject where anyone can just pump out an article real quick. But I try to find some articles that bring some good points, and then we can discuss those points for you guys to also let me know in the comment section of what you guys think about. So we'll go, and then both of these articles will be in the description. The first article, we're talking about the solar power to drive silver higher. Now, when we talk about this, we talked about silver as a commodity or an asset used for, coins or jewelry, cell phones, electronics, stuff like that. But when we put silver in cell phones, and a lot of these cell phones, especially how often cell phones get remade, the iPhone X or whatever, these phones get thrown away and they don't really get scrapped to the rate that gold does. Gold is usually meant for coins and jewelry, necklaces, rings, and it gets remelted when you sell it to your pawn shop or wherever. Where silver, on the other hand, a lot of it gets lost in these cell phones and stuff, not to be scrapped again. So when it's coming out of the ground 9-to-1 compared to gold, a lot of silver gets lost, not to be recovered and be remelted like gold is. So a lot of more silver is getting lost, not to be recovered faster, which means even if it's coming out of the ground 9-to-1, what is the ratio of that silver getting recovered compared to gold? So a lot of silver is getting lost, and a lot of it could be almost become a shortage, like what it kind of talks about in this article right here, silver shortage. So, and we look at supply versus demand. If it's a low supply and a high demand, it shoots the price up. So when we're talking about solar power energy or solar power to drive silver price higher, it does make sense, especially in the new technological world that we're advancing in. We need silver more and more for the most highly conductive metal for electric and heat. For thermal electricity, we need silver. It's the best performing metal for that. So we're going to need it for the industrial world, not even just for coins or whatever the case is for jewelry, but for actual real world uses, especially in the new technological age, which could be fastly growing or fastly, moving forwards, where we need more and more silver. It's kind of just to recap what all this means when people talk about or post these articles. So this guy says silver has had a disappointing performance over the past year, remaining range bound. This disappointing performance came despite the metal having strong fundamentals that should have driven the price higher, which, we talk about silver being undervalued. The growing demand for renewables could be the thing that drives silver prices higher, which I just explained. The manufacture of photovoltaic cells will cause silver demand to surge as solar becomes a larger portion of the world's energy mix. So we are seeing a lot more solar energy, solar panels, everything's become, even cars, everything, solar electricity, and it is the best performing metal. Silver is definitely the best performing metal to build these solar panels, etc. This huge shift in demand will ultimately force prices higher regardless of what happens in the futures market. So saying even if it's not getting traded that volatile as a commodity, the real world needs this as an industrial use, which can deem out no matter what the trades market does. This idea was discussed in more depth with members of my private investing community, Energy Profits and Dividends. Over the past few years, investors in silver have been widely disappointed. The metal has failed to break out of its range-based condition. We see a little bit of a movement right now. I'm not going to read this entire article. I'm just going to kind of skim over some of the more interesting parts. But it said there is, however, one upcoming event that might. This is the factor that solar power is likely to become a larger portion of the world's energy mix in the coming years. As mentioned in the introduction, the price of silver has been range bound for the past few years. As we can see here, the price of the metal has remained in $16 to $18 range. Much has declined over the past month. We see a little starting to escalate a little bit now. But he's just talking about the even if the ETFs and all that and the trades usually have a bigger pull on it right now in the world of the industrial uses, we could see a much inclining demand for even the miners, the production workers, the industrial uses, the technology, and the solar. And it does make sense. Solar energy, solar power is starting to become a much more appreciated or a much more welcomed type of industrial use. And if we do need, and if silver is the most highly conductive metal for thermal energy and electrical and all that, then this does make sense. Low supply, high demand, or if the demand is there. And especially in this next article I'm going to read, this is why I put this article second. Where there's a shortage, we could definitely see the demand's there, and if the supply is not met, then you can see what that does to the price, and that's with any type of investment. This guy we're talking about, this article is posted January 29th, 2019. Thinking of the potential silver lining for investors, a deepening shortage is promised to help boost prices as haven demand for the precious white metal rebounds in 2019. Silver surged 9.1% in December, its biggest monthly gain in almost 2 years. The commodity has benefited as a persistent trade war. Weakening dollar and prospects of slower paced U.S. rate increases drove haven demand for the precious metals. The price outlook is improving at a time when demand for gold's cheaper cousin is poised to top production for a 7th straight year. So with miners avoiding new projects amid global economic uncertainty, the price could spike as high as $17.50 an ounce from above the $15.87 now, according to Bloomberg's survey. Here we go. So they're just talking about, some of the stats and all that. Supply growth has started to slow more than any other precious metal, and the head, that's Wells Fargo talking about. To be sure, a production deficit hasn't been enough to boost prices in recent years. Silver has traded more like a precious metal than an industrial metal, which is strongly influenced by supply and demand balances. The price of silver has plunged almost half since 2012. Since the last market was surplus. You guys know in 2011, 2012, silver boosted, $40, $50 range. So now it's around 20. So this is the part of the article that's interesting. We can talk about the silver traded as an asset or commodity all day long, but the industrial use, the intrinsic value of the metal, that is what is that's where silver's potential is. That's where the real undervalued aspect of this metal is. And this is talking about the industrial use. I'm just going to kind of skim through this. 2018, when the general estimated that silver had its 6th straight production deficit, prices still fell 8.5% as gold slipped. And while a dimming global economic outlook is boosting haven demand for the yellow metal, it's clouding the outlook for the industrial demand. The uncertainty raises questions on the durability of silver's rally, what we just talked about, apart from the commodity, the industrial demand could still be there. Production has trailed demand for the metal used in the making solar cells, computer touchscreens, and medicine. It's also popular among consumers of jewelry and tableware, which we already talked about. Solar greatly appreciating in demand. And the industry, meanwhile, is the most significant user, gathering up about 55% of available silver yearly, compared with about 10% for gold. So it definitely is a much more industrial, has a lot more industrial uses than gold. Gold's more for jewelry, coins, stuff like that. The metal's high conductivity to electricity and heat, which we already explained, along with its sensitivity to light and antibacterial qualities, which medicine could come in, contributes to literally hundreds of products like skewings, blah, blah, blah. So we've already made videos talking about all the uses. But that's what they're saying, you know, apart from the commodity, the demand, where industrial medicine, you know, even light sensitivity, you know, there's so many uses. So shortage, low supply, high demand, what we keep talking about, definitely is there. The industrial application sector will likely boost demand for the metal in 2019, according to Bloomberg's intelligence analyst. And they see silver with a 50% upside for demand by 2023, compared with a 17% for copper and 11% for gold, because gold is more of just a commodity for jewelry and stuff like that. Silver actually has real uses. The intrinsic value for silver is there in a much more undervalued way than gold. Comes out of the ground nearly 9-to-1. The gold to silver ratio is over 80 to 90-to-1. So you can see silver is a lot more undervalued, a lot more there's a lot more potential there, especially if we need silver in the real world, in the technological world, a lot more than we do gold. And a lot more silver is getting lost in scrap technology than gold as well. A lot of gold gets remelted, a lot of silver isn't. So you can see all of these different factors. It only makes sense when you add up. If you're looking at any type of investment, you want to invest in the metal or the asset that makes sense. And this definitely makes sense a lot more than other metals. So I'm curious what you guys think about these articles. I'll post both in the description. I hope you guys did enjoy them. If you also did miss my video yesterday, make sure to go check that out as well. So anyways, make sure to give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Let me know what you guys think in the description or the comment section of the video. Subscribe if you already haven't for more content like this. If you have any other video ideas, make sure to let me know. I'll try to cover them. You know, I'm trying to post more content and just make some enjoyable stuff for you guys, spark some conversation in the silver community. So anyways, thanks for watching, guys. This was Silver Slayer. Thanks for tuning in. I'll see you guys soon. Peace.